Hey everyone, this is AriyaDas with a quick breaking news. So, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is visiting India, my home country, on the 24th and 25th of February, which is in a couple of weeks from now. He will be joined by First Lady Melania Trump and will be hosted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And the President of the United States will be visiting New Delhi and Ahmedabad on the 24th and the 25th. This is absolutely hot off the press, just announced. I know a lot of you might be hearing this for the first time, but this is a huge deal for India. The eyes of the world will be on India. This is reportedly being said that there will be a bilateral trade agreement, trade deal that's going to be signed between India and the United States, which will be very crucial for both countries in terms of their economies. As some of you may know, that the United States under President Trump in the last week and a half have actually signed two trade deals. One is the USMCA, the United States, Mexico and Canada trade agreement, which replaces the old NAFTA trade agreement, and the China Phase 1 deal, which is a huge monumental deal between the two largest economies in the world. I know that President Trump is a controversial figure. I know that there are going to be protests. I know there are going to be a lot of you who are going to be demonstrating in some sort of way to protest his presence there. And I support free speech. I support the right to protest. I completely condone and condemn. I condemn all sorts of violence in quashing any protests. Again, the eyes of the world will be on India. There can't be some of the things that have happened recently happening while the President of the United States is there. So if your conscience tells you to protest, then by all means go for it. And the government better be careful in how they're handling such protests, because it would look really, really bad on the country to have some of the things that have happened, which are deeply disturbing recently, that happened in Delhi and across the country. There are a lot of issues in India, obviously, from pollution, population, the economy, with unemployment numbers. We don't know what the exact numbers are, but they're definitely not good, with the situation in Kashmir, and a lot more things. So there's definitely a lot to fix, and there's a lot to do, and it's time that the government starts cleaning up its act, because the eyes of the world, the world's media, as well as a lot will be riding on how this particular visit goes. This is the first visit of the President of the United States to India under this current president. So it is hugely important that India is able to sort out its economy with this particular bilateral trade deal. As some of you may know, that remittances, which mean that people who, like non-resident Indians like myself, who send back money to India in the form of remittances, that forms a much higher percentage of revenue for the country, more than even all the foreign direct investment combined. So just to give you an idea, the foreign direct investment in India has been sort of around the $30 billion mark, but remittances, according to the latest figures, was over $80 billion being sent back by Indians or people of Indian origin who are abroad and are sending back money in record numbers, which is a huge part of the Indian economy. We're the largest senders of remittances. India is the largest receiver of foreign remittances that way. So it's a big deal. This particular how this turns out in terms of the president's visit will determine a lot. India is wanting to be on the United Nations Security Council. India is looking to sort of fend off harsh advances from China and Pakistan into Kashmir with the One Belt, One Road initiative and much more. So this is going to be a very big strategic ally of India in the United States, being there, showing a force of support. We know in the past that President Trump has cut off financial aid to Pakistan, and that's going to be something that this is hugely strategically important for India to show some strength with the United States. So, like I said, the eyes of the world are going to be on India now. Whether you choose to support the president and show your support, or wear your red hats and really show your support for this president, or choose to demonstrate or protest, that's completely up to you. But just know that the eyes of the world, the eyes of all of the millions of non-resident Indians who will be affected by changes to immigration policy, changes to trade policy, will be affected by any progress that India makes. So all of the futures of millions of Indians, people of Indian origin, Indian Americans, and Indians all across the world will be affected by what comes out of this particular trade deal, as well as the relationship overall between India and the United States, the world's largest democracy and the world's oldest democracy. So this is a piece of breaking news. I hope that all of you, for those of you who will have the privilege of meeting or being in the presence of the President of the United States, you will realize that as I've attended, I've had the fortune of visiting the White House and attending speeches given by this president, that he may not be the most eloquent speaker like the former President Obama, but he definitely can command a room. He knows the audience. He can play to his strengths. He's very witty, very humorous, and right now he's having one of the best weeks of his presidency ever. He just got acquitted and decidedly not guilty in terms of his impeachment. The fundraising in terms of the anti-impeachment effort were about $120 million raised. The fundraising for the Republican Party is over $463 million raised in 2019, which was just released, this number, in the last week. The Democrats, on the other hand, had a disastrous Iowa caucus with the results. We don't know who's won that particular caucus. So it's been one of President Trump's signature weeks. It's been probably one of his best weeks ever. He won the case with the emoluments clause, which the Democrats had brought against him. So it's been a week of a huge number of wins for the president, and so he's coming in good spirits to India, and it's going to be important to establish that relationship on this visit. So for all of you out there in India, this is a big moment. Please be responsible, please be safe, and good luck to the current government on hosting the US delegation, including the First Lady, and hopefully them having a great time. And in terms of immigration, they make a deal towards making it easier for Indians to immigrate to the United States in terms of legal immigration and not be subjected to things like the visa lottery, and maybe make it easier for certain Indians to seek asylum in the United States if that is something that affects some of the people in the country. So let's hope for the best. A cooperation between India and the United States is going to be great for all involved, and let's hope for the best. Here's wishing all the best to this administration in India as well as here in the United States, and having a fruitful agreement that coming out of this visit. Wishing all the best to all of you in India who will be experiencing a US president in person for the first time. So all those of you in New Delhi or Ahmedabad, or those of you who will be visiting or can plan visits to Ahmedabad or to Delhi during this historic visit, once again, be responsible. The eyes of the world will be on all of you. Best of luck. And this was a quick breaking news update. Please do subscribe. There's going to be a lot of very interesting content, including my visit to the White House and seeing the president live, and seeing firsthand, meeting a lot of very important people, and how all of that turned out. So please do subscribe. There's a lot of big things coming, including announcement regarding podcasting. And so please support the channel by subscribing and sharing this video far and wide. Thank you so much. Peace.